right, welcome to Your Time, Your Money, the show where your time is just as valuable as your money, and we know that. Adam, welcome today.
Hey, good to be here.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited.
This is a new setup for you.
Yes, it's the first time I'm in the new setup.
Which is basically us just turning the
right, looking there, right?
Yes, looking at our listeners.
Looking at our listeners, exactly.
Which is actually a suggestion by our listeners, which is great. So
now we're over here.
Yeah, now we're over there.
Right?
Exactly.
And now we're over here.
And we have an interactive show today.
Mm-hmm.
We have the gentleman behind the camera going to be involved a little bit, Mr. Matt Byers. Welcome.
Hello, all.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is going to actually be part 2. These are questions that our listeners have sent in to us, and we thought we'd handle them on the air because they might be some common questions that other people have.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I think is a good thing. So, without further ado, let's get things started. I'll have you do the honors and flip the old hourglass here.
Here we go.
It's your time.
Where's the sound effect? Oh, there we go.
All right. It's your time.
Your money.
All right, excellent. So let's go with the first question you have there for us, Mr. Byers.
All right. Ann from Glens Falls wrote in and said, I care for my parents who live with me, and after they pass, they want to leave the house to me because of my care. My siblings know about this. Do I need something in writing?
Oh, excellent question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a common one, and the answer is going to be maybe, probably, but yes. We've talked a bit about this, of course, and
yeah, pretty much emphatically, yes.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah. You everybody's like, oh well, we have an understanding with the siblings, but when people pass, we've seen very ugly things happen with families and fighting for what mom and dad said was supposed to happen with said property, money, heirlooms, things like that.
Yeah, and I think ultimately the one thing that people don't count on or forget about is divorce. Right. So it might not be your sibling that is going against you and saying, oh, I need money for that house or whatever. It may be their ex-spouse. Yeah. So something like a trust, the irrevocable trust, will protect that asset, especially from creditors or anything along that lines. Yep. But as with anything, it doesn't hurt to have it in writing. Sure. And I would imagine the majority of the time, families work those things out together, but you just never know. So it doesn't hurt to have a lawyer draft up a document to protect all parties involved in it.
Yep. As some of our certainly clients know, our listeners should know, part of my background before being a financial advisor was in the estate planning world, not as an attorney, but as a director of operations for an estate planning law firm. And I can't tell you the amount of times that we would have people come in and say, yeah, I was supposed to get this. I was supposed to get the house, but now my sister or my brother, whoever, is fighting me on it. Well, did you have it down on paper? No. Okay. Well, that's the first problem. And how much time we have, but we could go into a whole, and we have before, but a whole episode of why it's good to have things down on paper when it comes to like a will and a trust. Yeah.
And if you haven't checked out our estate planning, episode, click on the link below, subscribe, go down to the estate planning episode, maybe listen to that one, a good 25 minutes, 30 minutes of, maybe answering that question a little bit more detailed by a professional as well. What else do you got for us, Mr. Byers?
All right. So Peter from Tampa. I have a small life insurance policy for 40 years. I keep paying on it. Should I keep it or should I cash it in?
Oh, okay. Well, that we see quite often. Yeah. Well, one of two things. If you're still paying on it, Peter, chances are you may not have to pay on it anymore, but you can keep it. A lot of times, insurance companies will send out a letter saying that your dividend or interest is enough to pay the policy for you. But that's a letter they send out. A lot of people get it and they don't understand it. Right. So they don't call and activate that premium reduction, so to speak. So that's the first thing I think I would look at is will the policy pay for itself? It's in the benefit of the insurance company if you keep paying on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously especially when you're in retirement, you're trying to keep bills the lowest you can, right? You're trying to continue to maintain your standard of living, particularly in times of inflation. So it's always good to have a policy review and see what the little nuances might be that maybe you don't know, and can therefore, maybe not have to pay anymore.
Yeah, you definitely want to have an in-force illustration, a full review done of it.
Right.
There's a lot of policies where you'll actually put in more money than you get out of them. Mm-hmm. There are policies out there where you'll keep paying on it and your cash value is built up greater than the death benefit. And if you die, the death benefit goes to the beneficiary, not the cash value.
Right.
So, you really want to do an in-force illustration, have somebody look at it. If you'd like us to take a look at it, you're more than welcome to send it up to us. But if anything is sent, please call us first so we can send you an encrypted email and make sure that everything comes private and encrypted
and secured
as well. So it depends, but the other option is to cash it out and take the cash.
Right.
But before we make that recommendation, obviously we want to look at the bones of the structure, so to speak.
And what the full picture is of the financial situation. It may or may not make sense, but it depends on what your situation is.
Yep.
Always. So.
All right, next question. Janet and Phil from Boston Spa. Last year I received a capital gain from my municipal bond fund. Is this tax-free?
Oh, okay, that's a good one because
tax questions.
You would assume, right? Because a lot of times they says right on the name of the fund, tax-free New York, tax-free Delaware municipal fund. But yes, in the mutual fund world, municipal bonds can declare a taxable capital gain.
Yeah.
So it's not too often that happens. But in years like last year, where a lot of funds declared capital gains, chances are your muni fund may have declared a capital gain that was taxable.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that was just to kind of hit that point a little bit deeper. You mentioned how even though the market was down last year, a lot of companies still declared capital gains.
Yeah.
And in situations it was a question that was heavily asked last year is why am I getting taxed in capital gains?
Yeah, and that's a good point for a good review with an advisor.
Yeah.
Is the tax strategy of non-retirement money, of money that's going to trigger adverse tax consequences during the year, especially years when it's down or you don't want it.
Right.
You can't control that stuff in most cases, but if you're invested properly, you can.
Right. Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right. Pardon me. The next question comes from Chuck from Denver. Just found out about your podcast, and I love them. Thank you very much for that. Quick question for you. You mentioned TODs on non-retirement accounts, like CDs. Is this something that applies to mutual funds as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's put it in context, right? If he's looking at mutual funds in a retirement account,
an IRA,
it does have its own beneficiary,
right?
Which is, I guess you would say a version of TOD, right? But mutual funds on their own are another common source of assets that go through probate. Right. So yes, you can definitely have an individual TOD or a joint account with TOD. You want to make sure that those are just treated just like a CD or something that would be outside of an IRA.
Yep.
TOD is available for mutual funds. And just like the statements you get from a bank, from an investment firm, it should say capital T, capital O, capital D on that registration at the top.
Which, for our listeners that don't know, that means transfer on death. So that's the beneficiary term for a non-retirement account. So,
all right, next question. Pardon my voice here. Bob from Raleigh. My advisor sent me forms to e-sign. Is this safe, or should I request paper copies?
You know what? E-sign, we use that more and more every day. It's got to be from a trusted company, though.
Yep.
Right. If it's your advisor sending it, then chances are that the service that they're using has been vetted.
Right.
Right. DocuPace is probably the most common one that we see out there. DocuSign.
Yeah.
DocuPace is the system you log into.
Yeah.
But any of those encrypted file generating e-sign type formats are usually safe and sound. Obviously you don't want to open up an unknown folder.
Right. And a lot of times, most times, if not all times at this point, anytime you get something that is e-signable, it's going to be it's going to ask you for some type of information that in order to double check.
Yeah, and usually you need your phone.
You need to
get an SMS text code or something.
Yep, text code.
So I would say yes, but if you're not comfortable with it, just request paper copies.
Yeah.
A fairly simple question, but a lot of people, are sometimes afraid to ask their advisor to send the paper copies after they've e-signed.
Right.
But it's usually more convenient, more efficient, and it's usually faster, and then it's also records it as well.
Right.
But if you're not comfortable with it, then by all means have your advisor mail or FedEx, secure mail down you information. I actually think the e-sign process, in a lot of cases, can be safer.
Yeah, I agree.
than a packet going to a house,
Yep.
usually normal mail or even FedEx, being left at the doorstep that has your social, your date of birth, and your account
Your
information.
beneficiaries' socials and dates of birth and all of that. Yeah, yep. The security component of paper these days, which everybody grew up with, right? But now, as you mentioned, with the
you see all these
component.
episodes of packages being left at a door and just people coming up not knowing what's in there and just taking
Yep.
it. Well, imagine that was your IRA paperwork with your beneficiary information on it and everything, and it's got your beneficiaries, your kids' socials and dates of birth.
Yep.
And, your account number in most cases, maybe your bank account number if you have a electronic transfer set up in there.
Yep.
That's actually pretty scary, especially nowadays with those things going on. So either way, but I would encourage you to e-sign it if you could.
Yep.
All right. Our next question comes from, it looks like a couple of folks who are newer to the podcast. So Cindy and Jim from Kingston. What can I expect if I schedule an appointment to use your services? What do I need to bring? Where will we meet? Who will I meet with, etc.? So questions like that.
Great.
Yeah.
A lot of good questions.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, if you contacted us through one of our social media platforms, actually Mr. Byers will actually reach out to you and schedule you on our schedule. If you have a particular rep that you'd like to sit down with, you're more than welcome to ask for that person to meet with you. But you'll definitely get one of our advisors no matter what, somebody that's a fiduciary.
Yep.
And then I think there was some other things in there, right? Where we can do at our office location here in Latham.
Very flexible, yeah.
For clients within driving distance, we do make house calls like the old-fashioned doctor.
Yep.
Or we can also do Zoom. We do a lot of our out-of-state appointments, prospects from different states via Zoom, and sometimes a conference call as well.
Yeah.
So we're extremely flexible with it. What you want to have is any statements regards to your financial matters, life insurance policies, statements, most recent statements.
Yeah.
Don't bring in a statement from 2011.
Right.
6 companies prior.
I think my balance might have gone up or down by then. Yeah. Yep.
But those meetings usually take about an hour to hour and a half. And the first meeting is a consultation meeting where we're going over pretty much all of your fears, concerns, goals, objectives. It's really you talking more than us just
Correct,
asking some good questions, trying to get a lay of the land as far as what your expectations are for investing. So
the first meeting is really a good us getting to know you, and of course through the questions that we ask, you get to know a lot more about us as potential advisors as well.
Yeah, and as in any case, if we don't feel we can help you out with what you're looking for, then we'll be honest with you and let you know that, hey, you know what, I think maybe you should go somewhere else, or maybe that there's a service at a local bank or something that you can access as well. So good question. Very very poignant.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Last question that we have so far for the day. Paul from Albany. Do you have or do any motivational, educational, or speaking engagements? And who do I discuss this with?
Yes, we do. Mostly in the Arnold voice, though. I find that's the best motivational. But yes, Paul. Yes, we do. We do. We actually do a lot of motivational stuff for high schools as well.
Yeah.
I know on our other episodes of Your Coach, Your Money, we've been in a lot of colleges and high schools promoting education and motivation through the students and investing. But we ourselves, we've spent a lot of time in that public forum, whether it's through Social Security webinars, seminars. But we will go into an organization and we will do an educational, motivational session on pretty much anything that somebody wants us to talk about.
Yeah, we've done a lot of financial wellness programs with businesses, helping to educate employees on better ways to save and, college savings and all of those components that come along with those everyday questions that your employees might have. And we do basically educational programs surrounding that.
And the sizes can range. I mean, we've talked to hundreds of people. We've talked to tens of people.
Right.
And the location as well. We've been in break rooms. We've been in garages, bus garages. We've
been in Zoom calls.
We've been
Zooms.
Zoom's webinars. We've been invited to speak at different events throughout the country. So, if there's an educational or motivational event that you want us to come and kind of bring the show on the road, so to speak, I don't think we'll bring the sign with us. It's a little heavy.
As long as we can bring this green light, that's the important thing right there.
But yes, and once again, we educate and motivate, and there's nothing better for us than to speak to a group of people and spur them towards investment and financial success. So, I think that's all the questions we had for today. But please keep sending them in. Great content, and no question is ever stupid unless you don't ask it.
Right.
No matter how small it is, and if we think there's value and we get multiple questions, we'll bring it up on the air like this and do more of these sessions. But when we get emails or calls in with questions from one person, chances are there's 10 or 15 others that have the same question.
Yeah. Yep.
So as always, you can reach us, the Essie Group, at 43 British American Boulevard in Latham, New York. You can reach us at yourtimeyourmoney.net for your net worth. 844-444-YTYM, best phone contact for us. So if you'd like to schedule an appointment, you can go through our website, or you can like and subscribe as well. And please share the content out. We look forward to talking to you next session.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Your time,
your money.